Дамы и господа, доброе утро.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In a couple of minutes, we will start our first session, so please take your seats in the audience. It will be interesting. We're looking forward to having this great session with you.
Дамы и господа, доброе утро.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great sunny morning in the wonderful city of Moscow. Welcome to Expert Forum by Moscow. My name is Alexey Yaroshevsky. I'll be moderating the first session of today's forum. And we'll be talking about marketplaces online. And let's say honestly, with all of us, in these difficult times, buy something online. And marketplaces have become a huge locomotive of trade, especially in those times when we were staying at home and physically visiting a store was complicated or impossible. Marketplaces is one thing, but individual online stores is a different story. So we'll be discussing all those things. That's very interesting, and it has a lot of relevance for today's world, for today's economy. It's not only about sales, it's not only about going online to buy something, but you also have the seller, and they have to abide by the rules. They have to attract clients, etc. They have to attract as many clients as possible to their marketplace, and that's art in and of itself. And we'll be discussing that with our wonderful experts, professionals. Let me introduce them. So in the order, as Leon Fund Director for Sales of Aliexpress Russia. Igor Yashin, Head of Exports of Post of Russia. Artyom Orlov, Director of E-commerce of WECONN. And Vyacheslav Walter, Foreign Trade Manager of DIADAR. We will start, in this case, in the order with Mr. Fan. I'll be asking questions in Russian, and I'll be translating in English to make sure you understand what is being said. Mr. Fan, thank you very much for joining us. AliExpress is a global player. It's one of the online leaders. So can you tell us how the company was able to achieve this success and what models you do you use?
Hello, hi. Hi, everyone. Aliexpress was established 11 years ago, and originally we have a business model to sell products from China to the rest of the world. And it's especially, well,
It's for the presentation.
great. And it's especially popular in a lot of countries like Russia, Brazil, Spain, and a lot of other countries. And it's leading e-platform worldwide. So from 2 years ago, we shift from China to the world into different business models. First, we start to explore local to local marketplace. We start to recruit sellers locally in each country and help them to sell to the buyers in that country. And second, we're exploring selling from global to global to enable each enterprise to sell to the customer base worldwide. So this is where we are right now.
Расскажите, пожалуйста, в чем торговые модели
So can you tell us about AliExpress trade models, how commercial models, how it's different from your competitors?
differ from the main competitors in the field?
Yes. So AliExpress is different in two ways. First, we have a huge assortment of products. You know, China is the base for manufacturing a lot of industrial products in the world. And we have such a base where we get cheap products and good quality. And there are a lot of different choices. And second difference is we have a global network to ship these products to our end customers. And it's super sophisticated and it's so huge. So we ship like sometimes million of pesos to Russia with help of our friend Russia Post and some of our other partners. So that is our strength, and our difference from other marketplaces is our commitment to the buyer. We offered a huge selection and most competitive price in the world, and you can find anything.
Могу сказать, что мой отец,
I
наверное,
can tell you that my dad is one of those millions that order things on AliExpress, and things are delivered so quickly, thanks to Post of Russia.
is the pandemic time a major booster for the likes of AliExpress and other online sellers? Действительно ли время пандемии является точкой такой развития для маркетплейсов и онлайн-продаж?
Yes, the COVID time is really changing the world, and it's shaping our future business too. So online business is definitely the way to go. We see a huge boost of our business during the pandemic time because people want to stay in home more, and they find more convenience. When they try it, they find it's more convenient and more cost effective for them to make purchase online. And by the way, we see this before. In year 2003 or 2004 in China, there was another kind of epidemic. We called it SARS at that time. And Alibaba Group actually made a huge success after this pandemic in China, and that's why we are here. So I think this will shape the world.
Мы говорили про глобальное
We
развитие.
talked about global development, so let's talk about Aliexpress Russia specifically. What major objectives, what turnover, where Aliexpress Russia, what its place globally?
AliExpress.
So Aliexpress Russia, first I want to say, may I change to this? What I want to say is Aliexpress Russia now is a Russian company. It's not a Chinese company. Because in 2019, we introduced the strategic shareholders like Mail.ru and Russia Direct Investment Fund and USM. And these Russian shareholders together form a major share in the company. So we are a Russian company. And this gives us a better position to serve the sellers and buyers in Russia. And it's also good interest for both countries. So that's first point I want to make. Second, Aliexpress Russia is taking a big share in overall Aliexpress global landscape. It's just the most biggest country for Aliexpress globally. And we have huge and very deep commitment in the Russia market.
During the pandemic, how has the turnover for Aliexpress Russia changed? How much has it amplified and grew? Во времена пандемии насколько изменился оборот Aliexpress Russia, насколько больше развития получила продажа здесь?
I have some rough numbers here. So during the past year, which is during the pandemic, we observed 26.2 million of unique buyers making their purchase on our platform. And every day, on average, 8.8 million buyers are using our website, our platform. And on the seller side, we started recruiting local sellers from 2 years ago in mass scale. And up to today, we have more than 60,000 Russian local sellers on the platform, serving our buyers. And it represents more than 4 times growth year over year. So that's where we are right now.
Я знаю, что Aliexpress еще и
I know
поддерживает.
that Aliexpress supports SMEs in Russia, so can you tell us more about that?
Small and middle-sized businesses in the country. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So Aliexpress mission is to enable each business, small or big, to go online and serve their customers online and make their business better. So in Russia, we have a lot of benefit policies to support our sellers here. First, we make it definitely no cost for the sellers to start their business. So we make their first orders 0 commission. And then if a seller has his own customer or traffic, then he also gets 0 commission for all lifetime. And usually logistic cost is a very big proportion of the cost structure of our sellers. And to make our sellers start online easily, we provide free logistics for the first 100 orders with our sellers. And even after this 100 orders, we provide a simple flat rate for sellers to ship any parcel to anywhere in Russia just for 69 rubles with our help, our local partners together. And this price will even go down, and we are working on it, and we will announce it very soon. It will excite our seller community very much, please expect it.
That's really great to hear. И, наверное, последний вопрос в этой части. Расскажите,
Perhaps the last question with regard to that about your export project for Russian producers.
the expert project of Aliexpress Russia for the manufacturers.
Okay. So we started our global selling initiative for Russia sellers several months ago. Actually, it's in June this year. You know, Aliexpress already have the user base or buyer base around the world. And what we need is first, a competitive price and competitive product which are made in Russia. So we are working with our partners in Russia, with brands, manufacturers, to get the best production from Russia. And then we need to ship it with a relatively reasonable cost to our customer base everywhere in the world. So we started from category mother and kids, and we are trying to expand to more categories. And our recent pilot project with our sellers are very successful. We see a 400% month-over-month increase for the orders, and we will definitely continue. And with the partnership of Russia Post, we are shipping these products to our customers in more than 200 countries in the world. So it's just like one click, your products is all over the world. So it's simple.
Thank you very much. Сеся, спасибо.
Спасибо.
Перейдем дальше.
So let's go on. Igor Yashin, Head of Export Development of Russia Post. Igor, thank you so much for being here with us. So the first question to you. Mr. Fan was talking about these trends of marketplace development. So where do you see them during the pandemic? And marketplace development, online trading, and what is your perspective as Post of Russia? Good morning, colleagues. In Post of Russia, we have a whole block of e-commerce. We're involved with these activities, and I work there as well on exports. If you speak generally about e-commerce, its growth is explosive. It started even before the pandemic, and pandemic only accelerated these processes. And also, marketplaces also skyrocketed, and they're developing rapidly. And basically, we see annual and monthly changes of various approaches in logistics, in commercial relations, partnerships, how we work with buyers and shippers. On the whole, if we talk about the market of e-commerce and marketplaces, it got started, it's growing rapidly, intensely, and it's changing, it's evolving, and market players do not understand what it's going to be like in 5 years because things evolve so rapidly. For example, some domestic Russian products and such large companies as Snezhnaya Koroleva, 2 or 3 years ago, they had no idea that they'll be working with marketplaces because there would be dilution of their brand, but it's happening now. And also such things as Detsky Mir, that was an offline store only. Now 30% of their sales, they go through their website and mobile app. So basically that area is very interesting for all. And now a lot of interesting things do happen there, and companies do focus on it. So the pandemic and all the situation related to the pandemic, it gave a great boost to online marketplaces, as it was stated by you. But what about Post of Russia? So you have a lot more of workload. How are you able to handle it? Because this is developing so rapidly. We work in logistics. So the pandemic for logistics provided opportunities, but at the same time, it created barriers. If we talk about opportunities, then yes. So we saw a spike in shipments, and being a shipper of C2C or B2C, having a network in Russia and also partner network around the world, we can deliver those products to the door or to the closest post office or pickup point. So in terms of services, yeah, demand spiked. If we talk about logistics, naturally last year was very complicated, especially Q2. Because we had to rework our logistics, because airline connections ceased around the world, and even these days they haven't recovered. I think 30% of those capacities that existed, they're still missing. But the market is alive and kicking. There's demand out there. Volumes are growing in double digits. And for us, the pandemic has been a challenge. We have been through this. And in Russia, it was easier but also with our partners. We are able to deliver products around the world, ship around the world. But the situation will be improving once we are exiting the pandemic, because the clients got used to that service. That will accelerate delivery time. It will make delivery less expensive. And I think in terms of logistics, it will help boost both, will have to boost e-commerce. So of course it will depend on when we'll exit the pandemic. When? So Igor, can you tell us about some individual sellers, because that work online, individual stores, and you also have marketplaces. So marketplaces, so are they helpful to individual sellers, or maybe they do harm and they slow down their business development?
So in terms of merchants, we see real shifts. And let us take a period of 2-3 years ago. You had to develop your website. You had to create it in several languages, talking about export. Then you had to promote it in social media, and of course you need to populate your website and to develop its sales and its sales systems. So for small and medium business, that was a really big load that takes a lot of time and money. So that was the barrier. Given that, and I would like to stress it once again, your social media presence and your own website is just about wasting your opportunities and your resources, both human resources and money. So marketplaces right now follow the following trend, because merchants go to marketplaces because it's fast and easy. It's about time to market. It's about a big market, massive market, and all you need to do is just to have a decent description of your goods, of your items. Then you publish it on a platform, and that's it. So all advertisement, all marketing, and so on and so forth, all information distribution is done by marketplace itself. So it's a very big opportunity for business growth, for merchants, and for producers and marketplaces. I can tell you, it is a driver. So you mean they unite everyone and put them into one basket? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I see. So you mentioned logistics and certain challenges Post of Russia is facing, just like many other companies. So can you elaborate on that? What can you tell us about logistics for both in-house, home, and international marketplaces? So let me briefly tell you about Post of Russia partners. Of course, it is Aliexpress. It's about import, but we are developing export as well, and the transit. So we do it together with Aliexpress. But here I would like to talk about two main business schemas that exist inside marketplaces. So such old platforms like eBay and Etsy, the model is the following. They are a digital platform that provides you with different opportunities, like to search for a product and to search for a buyer. And all logistics is in the hands of a deal parties. So eBay and Etsy do nothing about logistics. So a buyer and a seller, I can tell you that the model is pretty good, because marketplaces focus on marketing activities, on service. They are a digital platform. They're a digital store, let's say, and they give you vast opportunities, both for buyers and for sellers. If we're talking about AliExpress, Amazon, or Russian marketplaces like Ozon or Kaspi.kz, so in that case, companies are dealing with logistics. And this part is being covered by marketplaces. If we're talking about Post of Russia, how does it impact on us? So eBay and Etsy customers are small and medium enterprises. They just go over to a post office and hand over a parcel, and we just see a traffic that they ensure. If we're talking about AliExpress, Wildberries, Ozon, Yandex Market, so big customers come over. They come with their needs on big traffic, on goods movement. They are interested in good service, in specialized or customized service, and of course they need our capacities. So talking about logistics, once again, we just differ these two approaches. We distinguish them. How will this be transformed with time? It's a big question. I can tell you that in 3 years, shifts may be pretty big. Some marketplaces like Etsy will focus on DIY. Some marketplaces will start paying more attention to special categories like fashion or lux goods. Some marketplaces will focus on national goods, national markets. And of course, there are marketplaces that are trying to cover the entire world, but still, the picture is not still, it's moving. Tell me about the main barriers and challenges, especially when it comes to trans-border sales or logistics. Can you tell us something about differences in customs codes when it comes to Eurasian region, European Union, and so on and so forth? So this question... So it's a very important question in terms of relations between sellers, buyers, and marketplaces. So companies that are dealing with logistics. Talking about Eurasian Union and Asia countries. So we are absolutely free. So we don't have any customs borders, and we can send off our goods to any countries we want. Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Kyrgyzia. So these are really big and serious markets. Kazakhstan is a very big country, by the way, in terms of import and export. So here deliveries are the same, just like in Russia. So we don't have any problems with it. When it comes to deliveries to other countries, here customs legislation comes into place, because European Union is a different thing, just like Asia. And so here you need to prepare a customs declaration. This customs declaration will be checked by Russian customs and European Union customs. So, and then, as we're talking about sales growth, you need to be compliant with different certificates and standards and so on and so forth. So, general approach for sellers, for merchants, is the following. Customs Union is a top priority for Russian deliveries. You just go, you see how it works, and then you just start sending your goods to European Union or to other countries. Just do it one by one. So it will be a little bit complicated, but you will learn how to do it, and you can find special instructions on our website, and also you can get some help from our assistants. We don't take any money for past processing, so it's absolutely free. We're not customs brokers, but we give you some help. So it's up to you to do it, but we can give you some consultations. So customs declaration is pretty easy, but you just need to fill it out. So next, if you are working in the fashion industry and you have mass deliveries, mass consignments, and you have some requirements like the package should be made of recycled materials. So there are some internal European requirements on certification, on labels, on national languages, and so on and so forth. So the specifics, you need to cope with these specifics once you start batch deliveries. So yeah, you can grow your sales, but at the same time you need to be compliant with the market requirements, which is very important. It looks like that Russian requirements are less stringent. And it's easier to sell across Russia than to import goods. Well, it depends on a category. So you just need to be very cautious, very careful. Well, if we take Turkey, for instance, so in Turkey it is prohibited to import cosmetics. So when you go to the international market, you just need to get familiar with the local legislations. As part of recommendation, I can highlight a big organization, which is the Russian Export Center, and they help exporters for free, so you could just avoid all these barriers and problems, and so you don't get trapped on a particular market. And my last question before we move on. So on the screen we see main Russian marketplaces and a few global names. So do you develop this direction? Are you going to have more partners? Yeah, of course. Let me tell you how we work with marketplaces and what our prospects and what are we going to have. Of course, we do provide logistics support for first and last mile, so we collect orders from merchants. Also, we work with the last mile. We deliver goods to customers' houses. Also, we provide FTL services, line hauls deliveries across Russia. Fulfillment is being provided by us too, both for Russia and for Germany. We have our own fulfillment center in Germany, so if you are exporting something to Germany, you can cut delivery time, given that we have an office in Germany, and in just 1 or 2 days your items will be delivered to Germany. So logistics support, then informational support, which is very important for marketplaces because customers need to see, they need to track their items, their goods. Also, merchants need monitor shipping and deliveries. Also, you need to give information that buyers and merchants can get their orders in this particular place. That is why we have a database on post offices or on pickup points or postmates. And of course, it's all about support services, SLAs, deadlines, delivery times. So this is what drives us. So by the end of this year, we want to improve our SLAs, meaning we would like to reduce delivery time, and we would like to hit the top 10 of countries with the shortest delivery times, shipping time. So next, very interesting, Post of Russia is a state-run company. That's why governmental support GR support is a little bit easier for us to get. So here we work in the following way. So what works already, you can use electronic declaration platform, which is very convenient for exporters and for merchants. I mean, exporters don't need to go to the customs office. They can prepare a customs declaration in their office, and then they just hand over a parcel for delivery, for shipment. Also, we have a project on granting export. This project was launched by the Ministry of Industry and Trade of the Russian Federation. So this project is about the following: merchants, Russian merchants, who works through Russian marketplaces, and Ministry of Industry and Commerce started to work only on Russian marketplaces, including Wildberries, Ozon, and Yandex Market. So merchants will be able to cut up to 15% of the delivery tariff. This program will be expanded to 2022, and once we have this opportunity, we will announce this to our merchants, and we will start promoting this very actively. And of course, this will be a real impetus for export development, given that our goods are already very competitive given the currency exchange rate, but now they will be able to save even more by cutting their shipping cost. So next, together with marketplaces, we are trying to create national stores together with the Russian Export Center and Russian Post. So we sell Russian items to China, for instance, and now we are testing. So together with 8 companies, we make a pilot to go to Germany and to go to Amazon. So by the end of 2021, in early 2022, we will make an offer to the marketplaces sector, and we will tell them how to enter the European market through Amazon Marketplace. And third point to mention, which is very helpful, is tariff reduction. So very briefly how it works on the example of Kazakhstan. So a post tariff includes 2 things. First, shipping across Russia. Second, shipping in Kazakhstan. In order to optimize Russia's shipping, we have internal resources, we can do it. In order to optimize shipping in Kazakhstan, we need some capacity. And here, marketplaces are quite helpful. So when we go with our big volumes to Kazakhstan companies, we can benefit from a reduced tariff, and this is what we did. And by doing this, we've managed to reduce tariffs for shipping together with marketplaces, and now our international tariffs for shipping are much lower. And I encourage you to benefit from it too. Igor, thank you so much for a very interesting talk. Now I would like to ask Artyom Orlov, Director of E-commerce Development and WECONN. Artyom, thank you so much for joining us. And my question is about your vision and the way online business changed during the pandemic. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I am Artyom Orlov. So here is my presentation. Let me tell you a few words about WECONN company. Maybe some of you are not familiar with what we are doing. WECONN is an export agency. We are helping Russian producers to enter international markets, especially European Union markets and the CIS region markets. So we were talking about Russian Export Center. We work with them too, and we are their partners. In line with that, we put Russian producers on different e-commerce platforms, B2B platforms and B2C platforms. We work with Etsy, not eBay. Etsy was mentioned before. We work with German Amazon. We work with Fordek, Industry Stock. Bobby, and some others. Today, of course, I would like to pay special attention to industry stock and Bobby, and I was asked about global trends of e-commerce today. Of course, it was mentioned several times that the pandemic had a big impact on the volumes of e-commerce because people were sitting home on lockdown, quarantine, and more we started to buy online. Of course, this is a massive trend that increased the volumes of e-commerce by several times. However, markets of e-commerce see other trends as well. For example, we have specific regional marketplaces that are trying to conquer their niche with some very particular products. Like, Amazon. You can buy anything on Amazon, and sometimes it's very difficult to hit Amazon because the competition is very high. But there are platforms or marketplaces that focus not the entire world, but they work in a specific region like Eastern Europe, or they pay special focus on chemical products or something like that. So if you have a unique product, you should look for some smaller platforms, not Amazon or eBay. So go for some regional platforms and marketplaces. Try to find a marketplace that focuses on your particular category.
So what are the key risks and challenges for online trade? We see that the market is growing, it's developing even during the pandemic, but where do you see the pitfalls? What should be avoided for online sellers? What should they avoid? If we talk about challenges that e-commerce faces, we should talk primarily about Russian producers and the fact that many Russian producers do not fully understand how e-commerce works. In Russia, we have subsidies for that, and many Russian companies join e-commerce platforms, but many platforms do not do any marketing or promotion. They do not help you to make your store look beautiful. And the main challenge is that government funds are received by the companies, but the companies do not understand fully how to use those platforms. So companies are there, they made it there, and they expect for requests, for orders, and that doesn't happen. And the largest challenge for Russian businesses is to understand how e-commerce platforms work and how to properly use them. And in Russia, so far, not a lot of experts are here who understand how to properly use e-commerce platforms, how to increase traffic from other websites, how to promote their goods. And I think Russian producers face this major challenge when we work with marketplaces. Artyom, and are there any know-hows in this industry? How do you engage new partners, including Russian manufacturers? I just wanted to tell you about several e-commerce platforms that WECONN works with. One is called Industry Stock. It's an international industrial B2B platform, and we have several hundred Russian producers that work on this platform, and they successfully trade using it. You can see many companies use this. It works in 180 countries of the world, and many products are already placed there. Many products and categories of products. If we would talk about the tools that this platform uses to attract more buyers, more producers, and promote goods, it's automation, type generation, or visual generation. Not all platforms have that. That means there are specific tools there, algorithms, that automatically generate leads for you if you are there on that platform. And then the company receives those leads, and then you can work with them. You can give them a call, work with them, because it's a B2B platform. We were talking more about B2C platforms where people visit, they add a product to their basket, they pay for it, and they get it in a few days. But this is a B2B platform, and it works differently. Companies receive primarily orders or requests, and then you have to process and work with those requests. Another great tool on this platform, Industry Stock, is indexation with Google services. Industry Stock and Google services have an agreement on joint operations. So you can sell your products in Spain, in Germany, in Czech Republic, in Korea, China, and other countries. So you can have a page in different languages at Industry Stock in Czech language or in Chinese. And when people search for those products in their native language, so Google puts you in top 5 in search results in the proper language and then people go to your page, they see all the terms and prices in their own language, all the descriptions as well, and they get in touch with you as a result. So there's this interesting tool that Industry Stock offers to promote your products in other countries. There's also a chance to publish your news there, also to promote your products. So also participation in shows and exhibitions, but automatic lead generation and indexation with Google services are two great tools that really help to promote your products abroad. You talked about B2B, you mentioned B2C, but what is the difference in strategies between B2B and B2C in terms of strategy? So the main difference between B2B and B2C is that you need to understand it, because companies that go to B2B platforms think, oh, we all buy products from Ozone, Wildberries, or something like that. We just add a product to our basket, we pay for it, and then we get the products in a couple of days. But in a B2B platform, it's different. Companies get a request, and then you have negotiations take place. So you provide a commercial offer, a quotation. You may need to send samples, and then you have video conferencing. You discuss export contract. It may take time. We had cases when companies joined a B2B platform. They received a request, and negotiations took a month. Then they asked for samples, they shipped samples, then they agreed on export contract terms. In April, they received their request. In August, they sent their samples, and only late in the fall, they started delivering. So for B2B platforms, it can be 30, for B2C platforms, it's $30-40 per check. But on B2B platforms, we talk about dozens or even hundreds of dollars. And so we have some successful cases of Russian companies that will use joint industry stocks. They signed very good contracts to supply their products to different countries. I really like this case. With modules for living. This is from Udmurtia. So they joined the platform, and in a month, in a very short time, they started getting requests, and they started delivering their modules, living modules, for residential modules for 11,000 euros. And I think 30 or 40 such modules have been already ordered. So that's a successful case. So industry stock platform has many such cases, but it doesn't happen overnight. Negotiations may take some time, months. So especially if we talk about large amounts of money, if you talk about millions of dollars. So that's the difference between B2B and B2C, even though there are platforms out there that have both segments on them, like Bobby. So this is for construction materials. It's very popular in Germany, in German language segment. There in Germany, you buy up to 20 to 30% of all construction materials. So you have both B2B segment there. So, and this process takes more time, and then you have B2C segment. If you're a producer of construction materials and you would like to sell them in Europe, so Bobby is the right platform for you. You can sell them in B2C segment, for example, then your product should be delivered to Germany. They should be already sold from the territory of Germany because there are warehouses that are owned or that work with that platform, or you can sell, using B2B model from Russia, but in that case, it's going to be longer. Lead time will be longer. You should understand that. Very interesting. Last question, I guess, for you. And it sounds simple, but in fact, it's fairly sophisticated. Just tell us how to properly manage a marketplace, what it should look like to attract clients. There is no one question to this answer. There is no one answer to this question because platforms really differ. Like colleagues said before, some platforms have inbuilt payment systems, embedded pay systems, their own logistics. Other platforms don't have those features. But generally, the most important thing is to have a good-looking website, great pictures, high-quality listings. Some platforms like Amazon, they check the quality of images. At other platforms, without naming them, they don't care about the quality of images, and they just companies upload whatever images they have. So, but it should be presented in a nice, beautiful way. If we talk about B2B platforms, it is very important to quickly, promptly respond to incoming requests. You received a request on cooperation. They like your product. You should respond the same day, very promptly, and start the dialogue. It will not work without it. And on many B2B platforms, there's a sending messages function. You can send quotations. The number of messages may be limited. It's important to use up the limit that you received for your month. And for SMEs, it's very important to have a dedicated person that would be responding or working with those e-platforms who would check on those requests, who would update information, etc. And then things will work for you, and you'll be getting requests. And to conclude, any electronic platform industry stock or Bobby, they're not a magic wand. It's not a silver bullet. So e-platform is a tool that helps you to export products, but it's up to you how you will use it. If you know how to use those if you can do it well, that tool will help you increase your sales and access new markets. But if you don't use it properly, chances are you will not be going anywhere. Even if you join 10 or 20 platforms, no sales, no growth. I just wanted to mention that at WECONN Export Agency, we help Russian companies to join those electronic platforms, to open stores. We help them to have, beautiful design of their pages, help with logistics, with delivery, with promotion of those stores. So if you have any questions, please come to us. We will provide some advice, and we can provide other services related to exports. So welcome. We'll be more than happy to take your questions, and we'll provide all the advice needed. Artyom, before I move to Vyacheslav, one last question without naming anybody. So Russian marketplaces, you mentioned that it's very window shop, like high quality design and images. That is important, but our marketplaces, do they meet those standards? I think they do. I think we have some great marketplaces, B2C marketplaces in Russia. it's a specificity of B2C marketplaces. They have very high quality requirements for images. You have to go through several levels of verification and so on and so forth. And those requirements are weaker when we talk about B2B marketplaces. So on those platforms, your images can be poor in quality, they're not moderated, they're not checked, etc. But B2C, they have higher requirements. Thank you for your interesting presentation. Let's move on to Vyacheslav Walter, Manager for Foreign Trade at DIADAR. Thank you for joining us, Vyacheslav. A general question to you. So where do you see general trends in online commerce, and tell us about your company too. So speaking of trends, the main one is that e-commerce is just starting to develop, and the pandemic was a key boost to develop e-commerce. If we talk about our company, we work with Russian and international marketplaces and I can say that we faced some issues. I can provide some recommendations from the lessons that we learned. So can you tell us what is the fundamental difference of domestic in Russian and international marketplaces? Russian marketplaces are focused on large formats like Amazon, and we're like subsidiaries of those larger marketplaces. And so that's the difference. The key two things, and many merchants may not know why they have such problems accessing those markets, because those companies are systemic. So they think that marketplace is like an internet store. And there are many difficulties related to this. So why does it work this way? It's not so very convenient, and they get some negative feelings about it. But a marketplace is a system that processes as many orders as possible. Is organized globally to process 1,000 orders or 1 million orders, and to make sure that your product is delivered to any point in Russia. Or if we talk about Russian marketplaces, if we talk about international marketplaces, that will depend on their scope of covering. And like Artyom said, I will continue on that topic, listing. Many marketplaces, they have a listing type of product offer. So that means they have 10,000 products. And many Russian producers, when they join our international marketplaces, think, okay, we'll join them and we'll have large sales right away. But the main problem there is that many do not understand how listing works. If you are from the perspective of marketplace, to whom are they interested to sell? Those who do regular shipments, those who meet all the requirements, who help process traffic, who attracts traffic to the marketplace. And listing system promotes those who meet those requirements of a marketplace. Main errors or mistakes, you said that you can provide some advice to the exporters and those who are interested. So which are the main mistakes of our exporters? I put it on a piece of paper. So the main problem is that not compliance with listing requirements. So when cards were not properly done, specifications were not properly provided, etc. When people visit a marketplace, they look for a specific product. If you talk about a protein bar, so many bars will show up in the search results. If you look for a specific protein bar and you don't say it should be a protein bar, just some kind of bar, people will not be able to find your goods. Also, poor pictures are not helpful. People will not be motivated to buy your product. That's very important when you work with B2C platforms, because it's about emotional sales, where you need to provide materials that will make clients interested once they visit your card. So the first and most important thing is to meet listing requirements, to make sure your products are interesting for the marketplace. And secondly, when you work with international marketplaces, but it's also true of Russian marketplaces in some cases. To meet requirements, delivery requirements, Russian marketplaces, so they listing is brought down for those products where you have problems with deliveries. You're not able to meet delivery requirements. It's not, marketplace will not be happy. They're not as interested in promoting your product card, and also in search results it will be brought down compared to others which meet all the requirements. So let's say you were doing getting all the grades at the level of A, and then you will gain poor grades. So you need to get back on track. You need to do a lot of things right to get a good rating again. So, and you would be in a good position in terms of search results. Another point. So no ads, no promotion. So that is a big problem, because many cards, when they're in the marketplace, people just think that they'll be selling themselves. So we talked about Amazon, and I know friends, I have some friends who invest 20 to 35 from the price of the product to promote that product on Amazon. So Amazon is interested in those goods, which makes marketplace interested. If you don't do your own promotion, if you don't invest in advertisement or promotion, marketplace will bring you down in terms of search results. So they'll make it more complicated for you to work with those platforms. And no analytics of local market. So perhaps I can give you some telling examples.
So, and I got these examples from my colleagues of different organizations. So one example is that one company went to the Indian market with very good product profiles. So they were trying to sell the protein bars, but in India they said that they were not delicious. Add some spices and then they will be delicious and we will start buying it. So when you go to a different market, it's not very clear what will be good for their customers, what will be delicious for them, what they will buy. So sometimes it just doesn't work. You need to understand interest of customers of a specific market, and then you need to go with the product that will be relevant. Only in that case your sales will be high. So Vyacheslav, I have a question on advertising and promotion of products. So can it happen that if you don't promote a product, it will not be sold? So I have an example. I put an item on a marketplace with the price of just 100 rubles, and someone bought it immediately. So can marketplace do something if your goods are invisible for customers? Well, there are two things when your products are interesting for marketplaces. First, if you comply with the requirements, and then if you help marketplaces to raise money. So if you don't care about your products, the marketplaces will be reluctant to promote your goods. For example, I'm Amazon, and I see that you are interested in selling your goods on my platform, and I'm ready to help you with that. In Russian marketplaces, the situation is the same. If you open Wildberries, on the first page you will see blocks in general category, and then you will see a label ad. So marketplaces are promoting those products that comply with the listing requirements, that give good turnover, and that's it. So just from a consumer side, you can even just increase a price a little bit just to include advertisement cost and to sell it better. Yeah, you just need to analyze. In some cases it's enough, in some cases it's not enough. You just need to understand how much money you need to include into the price in order to get a certain position and get your volumes. So I paid attention that One of the forum's hashtag is keep calm and export. And export, I think that it's a very decent label. What other recommendations can you give to marketplaces and to companies? First, if you never worked with Russian marketplaces, start doing this just to understand how they work and how they are built. And I can tell you that Russian marketplaces are oriented on international markets. You can understand the structure of work, how Amazon, Alibaba, Aliexpress, they are all the same. And this will allow you to understand how it works. And later on, it will be much easier for you to work with regional platforms or with international marketplaces. I would recommend you to start working with understandable markets that are located in Russia and that work with Russian products. Then you can expand to the CIS countries, China. China really likes Russian products. In my experience, it is absolutely true. That's what I can tell you, and this will increase your sales. So Chinese customers really like Russian products. Some people are reluctant to work with intermediates, but I can tell you that some people just want to work on their own. But I can tell you that mediators or middlemen can help you with adapting your products, with adapting your store, with adapting your profile or account for a specific market, and you will get more benefits as if you worked alone. If you don't know how to go to a particular market, I recommend you start working with national stores. In China, for instance, we know some of them, they work well. Start working with mediators or brokers, or just look for people who will help you with promoting your products and conquering a particular market. And one more thing before I end my speech. Use national stores. Nowadays, you can get a lot of support from Russian Export Center, Mosprom, and they will help you in entering international markets. This is a very decent tool, especially when you are just at the very beginning. You will get decent support and good experience, positive experience. So you mentioned a number of countries or markets that you recommend to go. So if you are just at the very beginning, what is the right place to go? I don't think that European Union and China have the same requirements and have the same and show the same demand on Russian products. So what is the better place to go if you are just beginning your business? So first, I would recommend you to go to the easiest markets. If you are a Russian exporter, a Russian producer, go for Belarus, Armenia, Kyrgyzia, and similar countries. Kazakhstan and Belarus are our neighbors, and of course it's much easier for us to start working in these countries. If we take Belarus, Wildberries are working there just like Ozon. They show good numbers. So once you know how Russian marketplace work, you can go to Belarus or Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzia. In Kyrgyzia, customers love Russian products too. They will get you some support in terms of promotion. So my first recommendation is to go to these markets that don't have any limitations, any restrictions. Second thing is about getting good support. I'm talking about Russian national stores or places where you can get some support from Russian Export Center or Mosprom. So we listened to AliExpress, so we know that Wildberries and Ozon are working on export too. They're helping Russian companies to set their export activities, so you can use these tool sets too. I think it's helpful. Hopefully or not, we didn't work with them, but maybe one day we will do it. Vyacheslav, to end up on a positive moment, I would like to ask you, Maybe you can tell us about some successful cases, how Russian marketplaces work in this direction. So is the trend positive, or we are just in the beginning? Well, I think we are in the early stage. I can't give you full feedback on this matter because I don't work with Russian marketplaces on export, but I can tell you that this allows Russian products in next 2 or 3 years to enter those markets where our producers are looking for with the minimal expenses, with no problems, and this will enable you to have a quick start with good benefits. Thank you a lot. I would like to comment on that, on Russian national marketplaces and their ability to start export activities. For customs unions, it's no problem, and marketplaces are working in the customs union region. But when it comes to customs declaring, this is a problem. You need to overcome it. But this problem exists. The problem is a product owner should declare their goods, and you need to find this. You need to know how to cope with this. So if you are helping with logistics, you need to know how to work with customs declaration systems. So we just need to understand who will be technically responsible for this shipping, who will be responsible for customs declaring, who will be responsible for certificates, and for many, many other things. So all these problems are impeding Russian marketplaces. So, for example, if we can cope with it, we will finally be able to sell our products to the European Union. By the way, we do have some time for questions from the audience. There should be a lady with the microphone, and if you have a question to our panelists, just raise your hand and ask your question. We will be more than happy to answer those questions. So, looks like we don't have any questions. Well, on one hand, that's okay. Finally, we got a question. Vladimir Anikovich, Investment System. The question is, how does Russian Post Wildberries interact in regional centers to bring support to SMEs and to train them and to attract them to marketplaces? Because Wildberries, I know they have around 20 regional centers to support local companies. Post of Russia has a well-distributed chain of centers, but do you provide any kind of support to the business? Thank you. Thank you for your question. Talking about trainings, we are starting deploying a system of, it is a general project which is called a School of Export. So we know your pain points. We know what they need most of all. So let me tell you what we have already done and what we will do in future. So first, when it comes to export, and the biggest issue is customs clearance, especially when it comes to the customs, to the post channel. As I told you, it is absolutely free, but still you need to fill out a customs declaration. So on our website, you can get some instructions how to do it. It's a very detailed instruction, very detailed but still concise instructions on how to fill out customs declarations. Then we will launch the School of Export. Materials are about to come. The goal is to provide even more details in online format about different aspects of export. So we are working on this direction, and of course we will have something about working with marketplaces. We have planned it and we will fulfill it. So first is customs clearance, next tracking reclamations, return issues, and so on and so forth. So it's all about logistics. As far as logistics centers are concerned, so we're trying to make them versatile as much as possible for our own products, so for post shippings, and also we provide them for small and medium enterprises to ensure line hauls shippings of big volumes. So of course we will provide online and offline trainings. Last year we had a series of such trainings in different regions of Russia. We train our managers. There is a mandatory course on export. So if you have a customer and a manager is in place, they need to tell a customer how to work with the export activities and to give some consultation. Of course, we have a support team in Moscow that helps with some particular issues. So this is my answer. So another question, please bring in the microphone. Lilia colleague, I represent Korean Business Council Executive Director. So we faced a problem. Korean products would have hit the Russian market, and we even had a round of negotiations with the Post of Russia on how to arrange it. But the problem is with marketing researchers. And also we have a problem, since our council is bilateral, the problem is about Russian products. So first you need to know your products, and I just wish to everyone in this room that electronic marketplaces take into account marketing researchers, and maybe you should include it into your services. Thank you. Is there a question or is just a recommendation? No, it's just my comment, my piece of analytics that I just wanted to share with you. Colleagues, do you have anything to say? Yeah, I can elaborate on that. It's very difficult for marketplaces to take marketing researchers into account because we are working locally, and to make an analysis or an outcome, it's very difficult. I think it's up to a producer or exporter to make this analysis and to show that those products are interesting, because marketplace is a system that works around standards, and adding researchers will be quite complicated. I can tell you that export centers in Russia or in Moscow publish some analytics on regions. Yes, this analytics is more or less global and it covers the entire world or a particular country. But if you need a more detailed marketing researchers, I think you can work with the Russian Export Center. Maybe they will give you a hand with this. Thank you. Any more questions? Evgeny Zemnogrodov, Premier Product Company. My question is to Igor about fulfillment in Germany. So you mentioned that you have a brand new project, and I know it. So I just want to clarify how fulfillment is executed in Germany, given the information that is available on the website. Is it German? So, for example, if you work from Russia to Germany, but what if you work from Germany to Russia? So I just want to know how to do it from Russia to Germany. Well, in general, the Post of Russia set a subsidiary in Germany. This subsidiary is a big advantage for us, but we don't position it as a post office. So it helps us to some extent in the following way. If we send something from Russia to post to Germany, we need to hand over a parcel from Russian post to Germany post. And Germans cannot help us with this. So our Russian enterprise, Rospost, you can always go to the website rospost.eu It is designed for those who are willing to export products to Russia, but you can do vice versa. So we have a Russian-speaking team, and we do have some resources on this website. So this is a cargo project. Rospost ships goods from Russia. So we need to know your volumes, frequency of shipments, where we take, where we bring. So we take it from Russia, then we move it to Berlin, to our center. Then we get an order, like prepare an order to Leipzig, and then bring it to Leipzig. So then it's up to us to make this order and to deliver your goods. So we have this service. We have a direct contract with the German office, and all logistics model, including last mile, is covered by Germans. So thank you. First row, one more question. Good morning, or even good afternoon, Larisa Granova. I work at a consulting company, so we are expanding our business to the Middle East, and we started from Dubai. My question is, does every single marketplace should become an ecosystem? Who is ready to answer? Well, I can comment on that. We are not a marketplace, but I just want to tell you how we see it in the post of Russia. Talking about ecosystem, we see a lot of marketplaces moving towards this direction, but the situation is very shifting, and everything can go upside down, and some marketplaces have their own policy. They think we are a front end, we are a shop window, and that's it. Our service ends up with it. Like eBay has a Russian office, but they are not licensed to make any financial operations. So they are just using outsourced companies. So this is one way they are concentrating this on a digital platform. They are just providing a shop window. Russian marketplaces have a different way. Aliexpress, for instance, provide a full set of services, including banking services. They have their own logistics and many, many more things. And this is a pure ecosystem, which is very popular. The question is how to take this big elephant.
So do you consider yourself to be an orchestra manager of the market, like you're orchestrating the market in your segment in a way, to an extent? So then we can, then you can become an ecosystem.
May I? Yes. So I want to say that there are some marketplaces are kind of closed. They work on their own logistics and work on their own ecosystem, their own partners. But like export and e-commerce is a huge landscape. And I think from Aliexpress viewpoint, we want to unite every partner possible into a whole ecosystem to help our sellers and to reach our buyers. And I also want to mention that we have a global buyer reach. There are three main points for e-commerce, maybe also for export. Supply side, logistic, how you ship your products to the buyer. And in my opinion, most important is buyer base. So whoever has the buyer base will help you find your customer. And all the problem, when you have supply, the logistic problem, and as mentioned, the customs clearance, all these problems can be resolved if we have a supply and we have a demand. So Aliexpress globally has a very clear reach out. For example, Korea is our number 7 or number 8 countries in the world. So we have millions of customers in Korea. And Germany, as I remember, it's number 6 or something, like, or number 8. I can't remember exactly. So we have a huge customer base around the world, and that is a big help for people to reach out to customers and to get orders. And after you get order, logistics, payment, there can be some pains. But with all these partners, like Russia Post and our payment partner, or even our service partner together, we'll be able to help you make a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Друзья, еще
Dear friends, one more question. If we, so I see. So a gentleman in a red vest. So marketplaces do analytics of data. Do they sell data to advertisers? What happens to anonymized data for goods and for users? You mean sales data?
Okay, so maybe I can also answer your question. Sorry for grabbing it. First, I would say, so for AliExpress, we don't sell our data to any outsiders. And also, we provide full data transparency to our sellers. So this is quite important. Like people mentioned that you need to understand the marketplace, like how to sell the protein bar. So we provide all the data for our sellers to understand their customer base, their conversion for each listing, and the traffic, everything. So actually, you don't have to talk to the customer. You will understand from the data side, like this protein bar with a specific taste is well selling in India. It's popular in India, but it's not popular in Korea, for example. We provide all this data transparency to our sellers so that they can do their own decision. However, we make it very strict that we don't provide this data to any outsiders or any other parties. So your secret recipe will always be your secret, and you will have the success.
Вячеслав, вы хотели что-то добавить?
Vyacheslav, you wanted to add to that? Just see, yeah, marketplace is interested in providing analytics. Because if you don't have any numbers, if you don't have any data, then merchants have a more difficult time. And thanks to analytics, the merchants have a greater chance to properly develop their cards. They have better guidance. So the marketplace is interested in providing that analytics. Thank you so much, friends, colleagues. We can continue this conversation endlessly. I would like to thank you all. Leon Fan, Igor, Yashin, Artyom Orlov, Vyacheslav Walter, thank you all for participation. We'll have a break and we'll continue after the break.